So we discussed about a great opportunity that is being established in Nanjing for foreign students to have access and have an opportunity to legally work in Nanjing. Some students also have raised the question about companies and places where they can apply for a job. There is a big demand in English teachers, but they particularly ask what are some other options for them.
In fact, that's a little tough to answer because currently most of the requirement for foreigners, especially for jobs, are concentrated in teaching. But since last June, our government adjusted the policy for the qualification of English teachers. It must be natives. So it's becoming harder for foreigners, especially for non-natives, to find jobs. I have to say, yes, it's hard. Well, but you still can find a job through online ways, I guess, because I used to talk to different international students in different universities, how they applied for the internship. Because internship is always related to their majors. And if he or she is good enough, and it'll be easier for them to apply for internship, and then with working experience after graduation, it'll be easier for them to get a job related to their majors, and especially most of the jobs they need related to working experiences. But how to find a job? It's really hard for me to answer because, for our Chinese, it's also a big problem.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So now we move on to the questions related to work and entrepreneurship visas. And the first question that some students have raised is, what is the difference between work and entrepreneurship visas?
Working visa is a Z visa. And in the past, just now I mentioned a breaking information for you. Well, first let me introduce you what is the working visa. And
very interesting.
Thank you. And the working visa is legal work permit for a full-time taker to work in a company or an enterprise, everything to make sure this foreigner can work legally in China. However, in the past, the working visa, there are three conditions, basic conditions: bachelor degree or above, and 2 years related working experiences are required. And the third is non-criminal record. Well, for the first one and the third one, it's not that difficult. However, for the second one, 2 years related working experience, especially for students, undergraduates, or even graduates, how could they get these two years working experiences when they just stayed in campus and keep studying? It's almost impossible. Well, I know for many of the foreign students, maybe they can get some gap years, and maybe during the gap years they keep working, but not everyone.
That's right.
Yeah, so for most of the undergraduates or graduates, it's very hard for them to apply for the working visa. But for entrepreneur visa, it's a new thing. In the past, before, the first one happened in April or May, and to now
this year.
Yeah, to now we have 2 successful candidates who have already accessed the entrepreneur visa. Yeah, not great enough. You know why?
Why?
Because in Beijing and Shanghai, they have already got many students, especially the just graduates from the universities or colleges. They accessed that type of visa, and it's mainly related to business. Not like the working visa, you can choose different jobs you like, and as long as it's related to your major or you have the related working experience, you can apply. Well, for this entrepreneur visa, mostly are related to business. You have some first. The students must be excellent enough with high GPA and recommendations from professors, publications, and graduates from famous universities and blah blah blah. So, really,
high requirements.
Yes, and after that type of visa, after they access the visa, it's called personal affair. Because in the past, most of the students, they don't have the working experience. It's impossible for them to apply for the visa. And this type e-visa.
Entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Just support the students to stay here in China for 2 more years with personal affair reasons. And during these 2 years, they can build their own company, to make their own business, and to survive. And 2 years later, they get working experience, or they can choose to continue their business, or they can choose to find a job and work in a company. So I think that's the main difference.
I see. And how does government support, and maybe they make some investment in local startups?
That's a long story. For startup, yes, our government is encouraging all young people, not only foreigners, but also local people,
Yes.
young guys, to develop their own business or companies, or because this is a way to encourage young guys to do their own things with their own interests. And governments always supply some policies, but mostly it depends in the area you live. And for example, even in Nanjing City, different districts, you get different policies or different remit or advantages. So it's hard to say what kind of measures or advantages the government provides. Like in many universities, nearby many universities, there are incubators, and the different incubators, they supply different favorite conditions to attract the young guys with their startup enterprise. But if you ask me to say what kind of those favorite measures are, it's hard to say. I'm sorry for this.
Sure. It's all right.
But when young guys start up their own business, you can go to visit and choose different incubators, and because in those places there must be some advantages government provides. Yeah, but for my opinion, you have to learn by yourself.
Yeah, to investigate the region, what are the local rules and regulations, right?
Yeah, mostly I was told by some friends who have been working in this field for many years. Different incubators have different policies, but mostly the one of the most attractive is to provide the location for free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's already very great support
Yes,
for a
absolutely.
starting company.
That's right. But I'm not sure whether it's suitable for those incubators located in downtown.
That's true. Downtown is very crowded.
Yeah.
Enough. There are many questions that have been raised. I will just raise the general ones.
No problem.
The question that has been raised is how to establish business if you wanna get entrepreneurship visa. We already discussed some requirements that you need to match, like bachelor's degree and above, excellent performance.
For entrepreneur visa, master degree is a must.
All right, even
master
higher.
degree and above.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a bachelor degree. Unless you are really splendid and shining and sparkling, and you can access many marks in different fields. Yeah, maybe it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, currently it's maybe more than 95%. It's for master degree and above.
So for people who are wondering how to establish their business, they said that they have some skills, they have some ideas. So their question is, how do I start? How do I establish my business here in China?
That's a large topic.
That's a big topic. Maybe we could just discuss some main things that they need to know to at least start to apply. Prepare.
As far as I know, many students, they start their business related to trading, because China is such a big market, and we have. Because for students, even maybe they acquire their master degree, when they have no working experience, it's not that easy for them to build their own business. Mm-hmm. And especially if it's related to major, not that easy. That's my experience. So, but China is really large, and there are many potential chances and opportunities here. And if you are good at watching, observing, learning, you can get your interests, and you can find your own way how to build your business. I think that's my opinion, and because not everyone's interests are the same. Maybe I like makeup, and the other is interested in clothes, or I like machine. Different people have different choice, so I really think it's hard to introduce how to start your business, and because there are so many options. Just like I said, learn.
Yeah.